Alright everyone, some of the funniest moments in the 2016 election involved Hillary Clinton not being healthy, like her collapsing into her van on 9/11. Not a good look. By the way, it's almost 9/11 now. I'm wondering in 3 days, are we going to see Joe Biden collapse up on stage or have another eye bleed or something? Probably will. It seems to be a regular occurrence for him at this point. He was in New Hampshire at a campaign stop, and he broke down and started having a coughing fit, and this immediately harkened back to coughing fit pants of shit, which was sort of the joke about mimetic occultism with Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I guess she was cursed. She did lose, didn't she? It's funny how people who were chuckling about it at the time started taking it a little more seriously. Both those that were and were not in favor of the idea of like mimetics and shit. But with Joe Biden, it's a giveaway that he's got health problems. He keeps doing weird shit, like at the same stop he couldn't even, I guess he couldn't remember Trump's first name or something. And it's not entirely clear. The problem is, like, politics has devolved to the point where there's a lot of name calling anyway. So weird, incoherent things are said, like, Trump will call him Crazy Bernie or something. Sometimes it feels like it's hard to tell with the oldest candidates, like a Sanders or a Biden, if they're getting the name wrong on purpose or on accident. So when he says Trump's name improperly, who knows? When he starts getting Obama's name wrong, you know that there's a problem. And I think at one point, months ago, he actually may have. Didn't that happen? I don't know. I know he couldn't remember what fucking year he was the vice president in, because apparently the election happened on Trump's watch. Somehow he was in office before he was elected. It's magic. He really did have a magic wand, and it wasn't just good for economics. Biden is fucking falling apart, though. People are like, well, an eye bleed isn't that important. It's not that serious. No, generally not, but it's funny, number one. Optics are terrible, number two, and timing, definitely. Any possible benefit that he got from being at the town hall was outweighed by the new health concerns that are now plaguing him. That they've been kind of like on the back burner for a long time, because what happened is that time and time again, Biden does and says crazy shit anyway. So he'd make some major strategic mistake. He'd start talking about his ability to work with segregationists, and even though I understand, like, in principle, that's not a bad thing, like the fact that he was able to work in the government back in the 70s, strangulated as it was, is not a bad thing. It's arguably a good thing. But the optics of it in today's political climate, not so good. Not unless you're trying to woo the business Dems, and he's already got them aboard, so, that was a faux pas. He makes mistakes. He does weird shit, and then he has all of these seeming health issues. It's like his aneurysm doctor has to come out and defend his state of health. When your aneurysm doctor has to release a press statement saying, no, don't worry, he's perfectly healthy, I don't think he's perfectly healthy. I think Joe Biden is demented. And this is the Dems' frontrunner and likely nominee. What's happened is that it's fairly clear now the Democrats, the DNC's insiders, the DNC types, specifically like, the Hillary Clintons, the Tom Perez's, the Nancy Pelosi's, they've decided to back Biden. They decided that early because of name recognition and his consistent high polling even before he was in the race. They probably paid him to run. They want Biden. They're well aware of the fact that he has health concerns in play. What they're going to do, therefore, is try to get Elizabeth Warren on the back burner in case he falters. She probably becomes the VP if he wins, and then the first female president won't be elected. The first female president will end up being, jerry-rigged into the position because of the death of a sitting president who never should have been nominated in the first place. If the Democrats are successful, that's what I speculate will probably happen. A lot of people say Kamala. It's possible. I think that might frighten the business Dems back off the Biden camp. The problem is that Joe Biden's not the candidate that you like. Joe Biden's the candidate you settle for. That's what it boils down to for the Democrats. That's why he's got so much support, because this basically, when you look at his polling, Biden's number, his aggregated total, which is about a third of the party, represents people who find everyone else in the field totally atrocious and probably will stay home if they're nominated. Well, that's going to be a little bit of a problem for the Democrats, I think. Their nominee could drop dead during the general election. He's not in good health. He keeps having these problems, and if it were just once, it would be one thing. But when it's systemic, when it's pretty much every day that he's making massive verbal stumbles, it's time for Grandpa to go out to pasture. That's really what Biden needs to do. He shouldn't be campaigning. He should be retired. At some point, No matter how strong and powerful you've been when you're young, you know, you were healthy and you were popular and rich and you were very strong, very muscular individual. At some point, you're still fucking elderly. It's just the way that it works. There's nothing to be done about it. Biden has already hit that wall. Trump is in his mid-70s almost. How much longer is he going to last? That's funny. We were having a national conversation about the age of candidates in 2016. Nobody wants to raise the specter of that. Is it because all three top Dems are older than Trump was when he took office? Warren's a nice spring chicken at 71. Biden is 75 and Sanders is 76, or maybe 76 and 77. I can't remember. I always get it wrong. They're old men. They're geriatric. They're over 75. I mean, fucking come on. He goes to New Hampshire, he can't even give a fucking speech. So now not only do we have to deal with Biden's verbal stumbles, we have to deal with the fact that his throat gets dry, he starts coughing everywhere. Or maybe he's got pneumonia like Hillary Clinton supposedly did on 9/11. It'd be very funny, he's coming down with a cold. On 9/11, the same fucking shit happens. At that point, you might as well just speculate religiosity involved with Trump's ascension to some god emperor throne, because it'd be a little bit uncanny for me. I mean, is somebody like taking pepper balls and shooting them at Biden when he's speaking? By the way, terrible idea. You get tackled by the Secret Service. No, it's coughing fits, pants of shit. It's basically what it boils down to. He's a sick old man. Beyond the normal level of sickness. He's confused beyond the normal level of gaffe mastery. That's just who Joe Biden is. So that Elizabeth Warren looks palatable, you know, to some people. Those who aren't thinking. By the way, there's some like Consumer Protection Bureau or something, some bureaucratic organization that she helped engineer all along and like is really fucked up for business. There's like some Hill article attacking her for that, speculating that she should be pretty much ineligible for the office because of her consistent support of yet another unloved bureau. Probably is shitty. Bureaus tend to be, unfortunately. That's about all. Peace out.